You're right there, Mark here, with another discussional video for you lot. And today's on a bit of a interesting one. Nothing new to a lot of people that are in the Warhammer hobby. Price increase. Got announced a little while ago. GW have been doing price increases announcements since 2022. So the one that is the most recent one from October the 6th, 2025, some prices on the stores will go up on average around 4%, some higher, some lower. Okay, excluding that is going to be paint sprays, paint sets, anything painting related will be excluded, as in, paints and washes and contrasts and stuff. There's potentially a reason behind that, alright, which I may go over in a minute. Now, this is nothing new. Before anyone comes into the comments and stuff like that saying, oh, it's nothing new, but yeah, I understand. A lot of us understand it is nothing new. However, each and every time there's a price increase, noted from Games Workshop, a lot of people say, I'm priced out of the hobby. And then the vast majority of those vocal people do get to hang around a bit longer. They're able to soak up the expense. Not all of them, but a good chunk of them. But more and more, it seems to be more and more people are dropping off because they can't soak it up. Now, you do have new people coming in all the time into Warhammer, okay, into Games Workshop's IPs. But it could be getting to that crescendo, that tipping point of enough's enough for a lot of people. Now, going back onto the paint side, it could be that Games Workshop I do believe they are expanding with their new factory and so on and so forth. I've heard that they got paint manufacturing facilities in there, because their paints are made by another firm at this moment in time. If they then have it that it's done in-house, less middleman costs, they can soak up the cost of that 4%, but also the paint market for wargaming in general is very saturated. They don't own the monopoly, let's just say, on it, compared to miniatures of their settings. Because you've got Vallejo, Army Painter, TT Combat, Turbo Dork, and a load of other firms out there making miniature paints. Okay? So they're not synonymous with miniature paints, if that makes sense. Whereas when it's Warhammer miniatures, there's a lot of clout behind that name for miniatures, even though other firms make miniatures. Hopefully you get where I'm coming from. They have to be a bit more sensible with the pricing when it comes to paints, because they got more competition. Okay. With the old price increasing, a lot of time it is in tandem with inflation, but also now we've got the US tariff thing being put in place and other expenditures. Okay, I'm not defending what they're doing, I'm just stating potential reasons why. Now, going on to swinging back to people being priced out of the hobby, it's being more and more noticeable. People are being priced out of the hobby, and people are going towards alternative avenues. And one of the big ones that is gaining more and more and more momentum is 3D printing. Okay? Now, I won't go into ins and outs of it completely, but 3D printing is becoming more and more accessible. Just to people financially, and also being able to store a 3D printer and the setup safely, because there are fumes, you are dealing with chemicals, stuff you don't want to be messing around with. Alright, simple as that. And or someone they know can 3D print for them. So they're going to their mate and going, mate, I found an STL file, can you print this out for me? Those kind of things are propping up more and more and more. Let alone the businesses that are established that 3D print conversion parts and alternate sculpts and so on and so forth. Because there are more and more talented sculptors popping up that are just producing beautiful sculpts out there. And it's becoming more apparent with the issue of trying to get hold of Games Workshop stock for a lot of third-party retailers, which is another discussion for another time. People don't want to be messed around in their mind. They don't want to be messed around. Whereas if you find a file that you like on 3D Cults, Thingiverse, whatever, or your mate sends it to you or something like that, you can print out a miniature or miniatures or tanks or monsters or whatever in the span of a morning or a day or whatever. You know, I know a lot of people, including myself included, if I got something big and I dialed in my printer, because that's still one of the things, printers still aren't 100% click and print, but they are a lot more user-friendly than they once were, but it's still a hobby unto itself. Once I've dialed in that printer and I know it's reliable and stuff like that, unless something catastrophically goes wrong and there's a big thing, I click print, I go off to work, I come back, my prints came out, I wash it, I clean it, I cure it, which is still a task unto itself, I'm done. I'm not waiting for something to be in stock to then be delivered to then arrive to... You get where I'm coming from. It's convenience to a certain extent. But now, more than ever before, other war games are appearing. Not saying there was never other war games than Games Workshop in the past. You know, you had War Machine, you had Kings of War, you know, Infinity, all sorts of these other games out there, okay? Drop Fleet, Drop Zone, so on and so forth, okay? But there are more than ever before. It seems to be more in the social spotlight than ever before. Trench Crusade. How many people have heard of Trench Crusade and how explosive it done on Kickstarter and XYZ? You know, there's all these ones coming back in and stuff like that. And a lot of them are being backed by people that can just print off files, play rules for free and so on and so forth. I touched on one-page rules many times before. That one's gaining momentum because it's now bringing out plastic miniatures on top of its own 3D printable sculpts that you can have printed through Only Games, I believe it's called, or you download the My Mini Factory files and print it yourself, or get your mate to print it. You get where I'm coming from. There is more and more options now. So yes, if you do genuinely feel like you're getting price gouged out of Games Workshop, there are more options. It is difficult. I'm not going to deny if your hobby sphere is very Games Workshop orientated. Not going to deny that at all. But there are more options. You know, talk to your friends and stuff and play with proxy models. If you like the look of, say, the Imperial Guard, but you're priced out of Imperial Guard, look at alternate sculpts. There's a lot of them out there now, more than ever before. But if you are, you know, very much wanting to stay with the Games Workshop miniatures because you want to go to their events and so on and so forth, okay? Look at the second-hand market. Not just third-party retailers. Look at the second-hand market. I found some absolute stellar deals just because you know, I was waiting around. I didn't jump at the first thing. I got some collectible stuff in the past, which sometimes were going for like 50 odd quid because they're highly collectible. Someone clearly just wanted to clear out, make a quick cash. I grabbed them for 20 quid. You look around, it's not as quick and as instant as buying the boxes, the stock from Games Workshop or third-party retailers, Wayland Games, Element, Outpost, insert your flavor. But there are options out there. There are genuine options out there. So yes, it's not a great thing that there's a price increase, and it's very much like, well, if you want the miniatures now, you have to buy them before the price increase. That's not good. Personally, I don't like that, but businesses do business things. And me saying, yeah, boycott them, ain't gonna work. Ain't gonna work. They've got enough new people coming in, and they've got enough of their fans buying their product. It doesn't matter. It is what it is. but look elsewhere. Have a gander, have a look at other game systems. Have a look at proxies for your game systems you're currently playing. Have a look at secondhand market. There are options out there, okay? So I do hope this has been informative in some form for you lot. If you have enjoyed it, please give a thumbs up. Comment down below of how you cope with these price increases and stuff. Let alone the stealth price increases we all know of, with new Kill Team box sets coming out of X price and XYZ. The stealth ones, I call them, and a lot of people do. But anyway, I'm waffling and taking more of your time. Take care of yourself, take care of your loved ones, and I hope to catch some of you, if not all, in the next one. Ta-ra for now.